Leadership is leading with a development story on Adamawa governorship supplementary polls, which was conducted on last Saturday. And the headline story says Adamawa governorship. INEC has no power to void my declaration in Anita's court. Adamawa governorship. INEC has no power to void my declaration in Anita's court. PDP governors demand end to electoral imbroglio. Commission suspends Rec. Hudu Yunusa Ari for Inglorious Act to decide on poll today. PDP supporters protest in Yola. I'll take the lead story once again. Adamawa governorship. INEC has no power to void my declaration. Binani test court. Obviously, Binani has taken the case to court to affirm her right. And the writer says PDP governors demand end to electoral imbroglio. Commission suspends Rec. Hudu Yunusa Ari for Inglorious Act to decide on poll today. PDP supporters protest in Yola. And the leadership cover also has pictures of the various protests that is taking place simultaneously in the cities of Abuja and Lagos. We have some passengers stranded at the airport yesterday, even as some carried the NSC placards. Stranded passengers at the Lagos and Abuja airports during the aviation workers' two-day warning strike yesterday. Aviation workers have just issued a two-day warning strike over what they termed the poor enumeration and the poor working condition of service. And still on leadership newspaper, we have two stories above the masthead. We'll go up first. I defend Nigeria at all costs. Chief of Army Staff charges troops. Defend Nigeria at all costs. COAS charges troops. NLC vows to flush out usurpers from Labour Party. The Nigerian Labour Congress vows to flush out usurpers from Labour Party. And just beneath the masthead, the white box where we have business story. Passengers trek to catch flights as unions grant airports. Passengers trek to catch flights as unions grant airports. And on the street, we have hope rises for Nigerian children as federal government okays Oxford malaria vaccine. Last week, we had reports that Ghana is the first African country to approve the use of Oxford malaria vaccine in the country. And today, Nigeria is doing the same. Hope rises for Nigerian children as federal government okays Oxford malaria vaccine. And on the right-hand side of the paper, in the box, we see stop killings in southern Kaduna, Benue, Taraba now. Stop killings in southern Kaduna, Benue, Taraba now. Ogun woman says 18-month-old baby to offset bank loan. Ogun woman says 18-month-old baby to offset bank loan. 2.4 billion naira debt. ACOM takes over assets of Glano, Nigeria. 2.4 million naira debt. ACOM takes over assets of Glano, Nigeria. From the cover page of leadership, we move over to the page 3 of the paper, which is our stand, the editorial stand for the paper for the day. And it says need for accurate census. Need for accurate census. And federal government just gets ready to conduct a census in the May. Just twilight on his exit. The leadership editorial says need for accurate census. And then on the back page of the paper, we have Tuesday column, which Ray Murphy, Adamawa Rec, like father, like son. It's interesting. That's an interesting one topic. We want to find out more on what Ray Murphy is writing about this Tuesday. And of course, you can do that by logging onto the website www.leadership.ng. www.leadership.ng. And don't forget Ghana Must Go. Ghana Must Go says Tambuwa wins Sokoto South senatorial seat. Tambuwa wins Sokoto South senatorial seat. That is the news. And Ghana Must Go replies, "Tell Fayoshe." I wonder what Fayoshe has got to do with that. That's all we can take on Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. For more on leadership stories and inside pages as well, you can also log on to the website. From Leadership, we move over to the next paper we have on our menu, and the paper that also has similar story, and that is This Day. This Day is leading with a story on Adamawa Imboglo, and it says INEC suspends Adamawa rec as Binani seeks judicial review of her announcement. INEC suspends Adamawa rec as Binani seeks judicial review of her announcement. PDP gives Commission 72 hours ultimatum to conclude rerun poll. PDP gives Commission 72 hours ultimatum to conclude rerun poll, and that is 3 days. Are replaying Yakubu script, Article 8 alleges. Are replaying Yakubu script, Articles 8 alleges. Party's Governors Forum commends electoral body for nullifying attempted coup. Party's Governors Forum commends electoral body for nullifying attempted coup. Demands weeding out of partisan corrupt INEC officials. Demands weeding out of partisan corrupt INEC officials. That's the leading story on This Day, and This Day above the leading story we have NAFDAC approves clinical malaria vaccine for Nigerians. That was the same story in Leadership. NAFDAC approves clinical malaria vaccine for children. COVID-19, federal government invests 45.3 billion naira reimbursement to states and FCT. COVID-19, federal government invests 45.3 billion naira reimbursement to states FCT. Stories on page 5 of This Day. And of course, we have stories actually above the masthead of This Day. Buhari recounts achievements in oil gas sector, lists BIA as biggest accomplishment. Buhari recounts achievements in oil gas sector, lists PIA as biggest accomplishment. Discloses 200 billion naira, $7 million raked in from sale of marginal feeds. Says $2.8 billion AKK pipeline 43% completed. Buhari recounts achievements in oil gas sector, lists PIA as biggest accomplishment. Discloses 200 billion naira, $7 million raked in from sale of marginal feeds. Says $2.8 billion AKK pipeline 43% completed. And of course, the next that story, we have aviation workers strike forces passengers to trek to airport. Unions block access routes. Aviation workers strike forces passengers to trek to airport. Unions block access routes. The story is on page 6 of This Day. And of course, we also have interesting stories as well in the inside pages of This Day newspaper. So for more on the stories, you can log on to their website at on www.thisdaylive.com. www.thisdaylive.com. From This Day, we move over to another paper too, because some papers carry the trending developing story on Adamawa Rerun supplementary poll, and the Nation captions it this way: The Nation, twist in Binani Fintri governorship result crisis. Twist in Binani Fintri governorship result crisis. Binani sees court order to stop INEC returning officer unavailable. To stop INEC, returning officer unavailable. Rec suspended. Commission chiefs meet to decide outcome. Makinde says declare a winner. I'll take that story once again. That is on the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper says today, Tuesday, April 18, 2023, twist in Binani Fintiri governorship result crisis. Twist in Binani Fintiri governorship result crisis. Binani seeks court order to stop INEC. Returning officer unavailable. Rec suspended. Commission chiefs meet to decide outcome. Makinde declare a winner. And of course, this returning officer unavailable in court reminds one of Davido's latest song, Unavailable. Anyway, from that we move over to the next other stories on the Nation's cover. Yes, Nigeria okays malaria vaccine for children below 3 years. Nigeria okays malaria vaccine for children below 3 years. 100,000 doses expected soon. And the nation newspaper, just like the first and other paper that were not have a 200 passengers and for some passengers at the airport yesterday. They are not on above the basket of the nation, we have other stories, but others suspended Labour Party chair, others require defense, but others suspended Labour Party chair, others require defense. 2.8 billion billion dollars, aka pipeline for 50% 2.8 billion dollars, aka pipeline for 50% ready to national stadiums for them and parks and parks just because of the website of the Nation newspaper www.thenationonlineng.net to read more on the stories, both on the cover of the Nation and inside news. From the Nation, we have the same story actually on Blueprint. Blueprint says, for declaring Binani governor-elect, stay away from our premises, INEC tells Adamawa Rec. For declaring Binani governor-elect, stay away from our premises, INEC tells Adamawa Rec. Directs administrative secretary to take charge. CDD urges sanction, wants electoral body to declare result. Abo force INEC, Omokiri warns against coup possibility. Harris actions has elements of treason, lawyers. I'll take that again. For declaring Binani governor-elect, stay away from our premises, INEC tells Adamawa Rec. Directs administrative secretary to take charge. CDD urges sanction, wants electoral body to declare result. Abo force INEC, or mockery warns against coup possibility. Harris action has elements of treason, lawyers say. And above the masthead of just above the leading story on Blueprint, we have expert warns as federal government services debt with 96% revenue in 2022. Expert warns as federal government services debt with 96% revenue in 2022. Blames fiscal authorities lack of political will to take strong decision. Expert warns as federal government services debt with 96% revenue in 2022. Blames fiscal authorities lack of political will to take strong decision. The story is on page 6 of Blueprint newspaper. And for more on the stories today on Blueprint, you can also log on to their website www.blueprint.ng. And just before we go, we'll have stories that's so interesting. Of course, on the cover of that same cover of a Blueprint, it says e-customs project sans caution AGF against disobeying court order. E-customs project sans caution AGF against disobeying court order. Fresh memo at FEC will be embarrassing in court. Nigeria approved R21 malaria vaccine, NAFDAC DG. And then we have story on Ogun. In Ogun, 33-year-old mother nabbed for selling 18-month-old child at 0.6 million, and that is 600,000 naira. Ogun, 33-year-old mother nabbed for selling 18-month-old child at 600,000 naira. For more the stories, you can also log on to the website of Blueprint. We have JAMS direct entry registration to commence on Eid Victory Day. We are not fasting for lack of means, says Joyce Jobs Emails. We are not fasting for lack of means, say Jobs Emails. Bishop remanded for alleged rape of 2 church members. For more on the stories as I mentioned earlier, just log on to the website of Blueprint newspaper. So away from the imbroglio going on in Adamawa, the Punch newspaper has another story entirely. Let's see what Punch is saying on its cover today. The Punch, fuel subsidy. Federal government begins 40% pay rise for workers April ending. Fuel subsidy. Federal government begins 40% pay rise for workers April ending. Government will settle January to match arrears later, says Labour Ministry. Increased transport, housing allowance also, TUC tells federal government. Fuel subsidy. Federal government begins 40% pay rise for workers April ending. Government will settle January to match arrears later, says Labour Ministry. Increased transport, housing allowances also, TUC tells federal government. And of course, on the pages of the punch, we also have pictures of the ongoing shutdown aviation workers strike, 2-day protest strike going on at the airport. We have workers and some passengers stranded, while some workers are also protesting. You can see them raising their fist up in the demonstration. That is on the Punch newspaper. And above the masthead, we have PDP governors demand Adamawa's Rex trial. Binani sues INEC. External reserves slide further to $35 billion. External reserves slide further to $35 billion. Marginal oil fee say generated 203 billion naira, says Buhari. Marginal oil fee say generated 203 billion naira, says Buhari. And underneath the pictures, the pictures on the punch would have other stories. 2.8 billion naira gas pipeline progressing to power 3,600 megawatt plant, federal government. $2.8 billion gas pipeline progressing to power 3,600 megawatt plant. Napa collects ransom. Very 3-year-old victim alive. Napa collects ransom. Very 3-year-old victim alive. Three of them. Rampaging gunmen at God's guide. 9 hours in days. Rampaging gunmen at God's guide. 9 hours in days. Website of the inside. Since 40% of the transactions all result as e-payments with 49.4 trillion naira. 40% of paid transactions all result as e-payments 49.4 additional as reject federal government of right operation over COS. Aviation workers reject federal government right operations over COS welfare. That covers covers says aviation workers union yesterday made their threat to services for airports nationwide protest against non-implementation of condition of service and other welfare. NAFDAC grants provisional approval for post-malaria vaccine. Nigeria. Fresh oil output concerned as Exxon declares force. Fresh oil output concerned as ExxonMobil declares force majeure. Chinese brands dominate Nigeria's mobile phone market. Chinese brands dominate Nigeria's mobile phone market. Adamawa, despite reg suspension, PDP insists on protest till poll concludes. The story is is highlighted in the cover of this day and discussed. You can read it on page 6 of the Guardian. Well, yes, this is what all we can take on the Guardian this Tuesday. For more the stories, you can also log onto the website. And this will come to the end of today's review of newspaper headlines on your number one favorite program, Breakfast Show Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. My name is Wendy Frederick, but don't forget, every day from Monday to Friday, same time, same station. I'll be here tomorrow, and of course, I'll have my guest analyst. Join us tomorrow. See you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.